Hello everyone, welcome back for another video tutorial. So for this video, we will start with the new module, which is module number 3. So in this case, we would like to use the Bootstrap that is well-known web styling framework so that you can develop your front-end application in the better look. So in this case, first, let's get introduced into what is Bootstrap Library first. Now, if you want to learn more about what is the Bootstrap, you can type in Bootstrap here, and it's gonna navigate you to their websites or sometimes the tutorial websites as well. So you can click over here, and you can click over Get Started. As you can see now that at the beginning, it's gonna give you some reference that you can just copy from here and put it in your code so that you can start working on it as well. Okay. Now there is another website that is called the Build3C School. Okay, I see that this is the good one as well. So therefore, let's go ahead and go to the Build3C Bootstrap number 4. Okay, and that would give you really good introduction for this as well. And now, as you can see that you can start trying this to see the output as well. Now you can also copy this from their websites so that we can reference to the Bootstrap. Okay, so in HTML documents, you can make use of the third-party work somebody have developed framework so that you don't have to manually put your own styling into your CSS file. So therefore, you can go ahead and copy everything right here in your header section here. So let me copy this first. And then let me go down and let me put it into the new script. So now I'm going to call code number 4.html. So therefore, let's go ahead and put, okay, hold on, please. Over here, I'm going to put code number 4.html. And then we're going to start up with the minimal structure of HTML, which is HTML. And then in here, we're going to have the header part. So let's put head part. And we also need to have the body part as well. Okay, cool. Inside the header part, then we can just copy and paste whatever you have in the from the Build3C School web. Over here, what happens? It's contain the meta text that tell you how do we set up our original initial web that is gonna scale to one to one. Okay, and also as you can see, there are 4 different references. The first reference is about referencing the CSS styling from this website. Okay, and then this is used for your Bootstrap. And also using Bootstrap, you also need to use jQuery as well. This is a good framework for legacy web application, but still being used by many websites. Okay, therefore we're gonna use jQuery as well for the introduction of this, and then we move on to another reactive framework later in the future. All right, and then also there are 2 more reference that you need over here. Keep in mind that the first one is for referencing the CSS styling here, and this is to reference for JavaScript. Somebody, in this community already developed this JavaScript for you so that you can just start using a set of commands that allow you to easily implement your web applications. All right, now once you have already included this in here, now let's go ahead and try to do something together. So now we have accomplished the use of reference. Let's say that I would like to apply that Bootstrap to some of my UI component here. Let's say that I just have the input text here. So that's going to be just like a text box. And then inside this text box, then I just gonna keep it like that. Okay. Over here, I just gonna put name equal to this. All right. Now let's try this together. So it's going to be code number 4 now. And now let me just show you the output here. You can see that this is what it have. It show you the output of this. Okay, so it's just put the static text here and they put the index, put the text box for you. So you can type any input as you like. Now this is a standard one. But if you apply the styling from Bootstrap to this, it's going to turn this into a responsive components, and it's going to resize their width and height based on the new screen size as well. For example, over here, if you resize your screen, the width and the height remain unchanged, and it looks standard as just like HTML component as well. Now, if you apply some styling names to it, then it's going to make it look different. Therefore, for example, in the input, you can apply the class, and this is how you apply the declaration for each input. You can also create your own class in CSS, okay? But you can use the class that available in your Bootstrap as well. Now let me show you what it looks like. So Bootstrap input form. Now you look at this, it also show you that for the form, you can apply things like the class that is called form control to make your input look a little bit different from previous one. This is the one that we have right here. So over here you can put form control. So go ahead and put form control. And over here, when you refresh it, you can see that now what happens. The text box look different, and the width also span throughout the screen. And whenever you make changes in terms of the screen size, also the width also responsive, or change the width to fit the new screen as well. So that is what we call responsiveness. That's available offered by the Bootstrap framework. Okay. All right. Now, same thing over here. I'm going to just rename this one. So I'm just going to put that this is going to be another tag called label tag. And then I'm going to put just the name right there. Now, we're going to put this into the form group together. So therefore, over here, I'm going to wrap this. Okay. And then I'm going to put it into a div box. Div is just like an empty box, but we apply the class that is called form group, like this. And this is the available in Bootstrap as well. Now in this case, you can just put it right here. So this is part of this group now. And then when you refresh it, it's going to look like this. Okay. Now you can also apply the margins or paddings of your work right here. So for example, you can apply the class for this group. So you can have multiple classes over here. In addition to form group, you can apply the margins. So when you put mx-2, then they will apply the margin for both sides. As you can see, it applied the margin for both sides, right? If you want to apply the margin just only for the left hand side, you put ml-2. Now that number tell you exactly how far apart from this. Okay, so there are 5 different levels starting with 0 to 5. So if you go to 5, then you can see that that is the space between. The margin is what? The margin is the space between the UI and surrounding area. The padding is the space within the UI and the text. Okay, so that's the difference. Now, if you want to apply this margin for both sides, then you can just put mx. X stands for x direction, x axis. Okay. You can also apply another one, which is what we call my5. So that y will represent the margin in this direction. So for example, you have another one down here for this group. You can apply another one. So let's copy this div and then put instead of name, let's put GPA. Let's say that we are working on student information system, and therefore you're gonna get this second text box right here with the same class over here. I think this is too much in terms of the margins. Let me put it back to B2. I think that's look better for us. Okay, so I think that's good enough. What else? So this is how you first apply this to the user. You can learn about this, even applying some other classes to make your UI look much better than the original one. Okay. All right. What else? I can add the button. So for example, over here, I can add button here. Okay. And then I say submit in this case, and your output will show a button. As you can see, the button is still in the original format here. That's standard HTML level number 5. Now, if you want to apply the theme for this using Bootstrap, this is what you can do. You can say that we can apply the class as btn. Now let's take a look at what is btn. So it looks like this. Okay, the class looks like this. When you click on it, it's gonna show the border of this. If you click away, it's gonna show just like this. So that's btn. And then if you apply btn button in there, this is another class. You can see it doesn't make much difference between the two. Now you can also apply the styling in terms of the color. Okay, so in this case, you can think about having different button by going to Bootstrap button. So they have a good reference for using this. As you can see, you can apply many different color for each button. And in order to apply, for example, the blue color for this, then it's called btn primary one. And that gives you the output that look like this. Okay, now as you can see that we should have also the margin, so that's why we also should put mx2 and my2 so that you have this margin as well. Well, I think I don't need to have the okay, what about if I keep this just mx1? Oh, it's already within this, right? So therefore, I don't think I need to put this one in, just to make sure that we have my2. That should be good enough. Okay, cool. And then this primary one, if you want the green color, then we say success. The output will show you green color one. If you want red color, we call dangers. Okay. If it is yellow, we call warning. And you can guess that if you want the black one, then it's called dark. So there are different colors that you can review by yourself. It is available in this document. Okay, there are some more information that you can go for as well. This is for one style. What if you would like to have like the outlining? For example, you want button that look like this. Therefore, instead of just putting dark or primary one, you can just put another word in between and call them outline, and that's going to give you outline button like this. Okay, I'm going to put it back to be primary one so it look much more simpler for me. Okay, all right, so this is how it works. You can see that whenever you put it as the outline, when you hover the mouse inside the button, it's going to fill in the color. When you hover out, it's going to remove that fill in color as well. When you click on it, okay, it's going to again fill in this button as well. Okay, so this is good indications for the interactive web as well. Cool. What is else? Then once you understand about how to apply, the color, the styles, the margins for the UIs, the next step is let's go to our list. Then yeah, we have done 14 and 15 as well. What if we would like to have the grid view to show two different forms? How do we accomplish this? Well, let's go ahead and do another reference. So type Bootstrap grid. Okay. Now for the gridding system that they use the div as the class rows, and then in the rows, then you can have multiple columns. Now let's try this together. So I'm gonna keep using the old one here, and then make it a little bit different. So for example, I'm gonna have two forms sit alongside to each others. So therefore over here, what I can do is I can just copy this. Okay, all right, so this is the div of this, this is the div of this, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna introduce this together. So what I should do is I should put this into the parent div. So therefore, okay, let me copy this first. Then I'm gonna say that I'm gonna have the div that represent the rows. So the row is gonna be class row like this. Then we're gonna have two columns. So therefore, I'm gonna put div for the first one, and then let me put comment here as well. That's gonna be column 1, and then we're gonna have column 2. Okay, so this will be column 2 here. So inside each div, it's just gonna be like a form. So therefore, I'm gonna put the first thing that is just copy form right in here. Okay, now let's take a look at the result. So as you can see now that we got this output reference right here. Okay, And then it doesn't have good margin, so we're gonna have to apply margin back in so that we don't have much of the problem about this cutoff. Also, if I copy this downward here and put it this way, also as you can see that now we got two of them right there. Now in terms of the grading system, okay, you can apply the specific grading style for the screen size as well. So for example, this is a small size, okay, they have the big size called LM, okay, medium size called MD. So you can look at the screen size and see which one is good for setup for your grid layout as well. Okay, you can see that we always start off with the row, then we have multiple div. Each div can be used for each column. Okay, so this is another column, this is another row, this is another column, so you can mix the row and column very easily as well. All right, so that's one thing. What else? Well, see, you can also have the column with the bigger version is called LG. LG is for large screen, okay. MD is medium one, SM is small one. And without MD, MG, and LG is a standard one. You can play around with those values and see what the difference, okay. All right, so this is how we assign the the display for this, just to let you know. Now let's move on to the last one for this module. So how about if we want to style the table as well, what should we do? Well, is that the case? Allow me to use the new one. So therefore, let me copy this reference right here. And then I will start with the new course called code number 5, code number5.html. Then I'm gonna have HTML as the structure with the head part and the body part. As you can see that in this section module, we haven't talked about any JavaScript to control behavior of the output yet. Okay, we will wait until module number 4 when we talk about jQuery. Okay, so for now, this example, what I want is just to create a simple table. So therefore, in the header part, I'm going to copy this and put it right there for having the styling framework, which is for the Bootstrap. And in the body part here, then I will create the table structure. Now let's go now and then change the code to be code number 5. Okay, as you can see, it's a simple one right now because it doesn't have any structure yet. So I'm gonna start putting table. Okay, then inside the table, then I will have the header part of the table. So usually we call T head, and then we have the T body. Okay, inside the T head, that's gonna show you the header part, which is header row. So in here, then you can put TR. That TR represents a single row. Inside the TR, then we're gonna have multiple columns. So each column, for example, if you want to store product information, then you can put, let's say ID, name, and QTY. All right, so that will end up having something like this. Now this is not a beautiful table at all, so that's why when you use Bootstrap, you can turn it into a beautiful look. So you can apply class equal to table, and that would give you ability to look at this in the different dimension. You can see that the table becomes responsive to the screen size as well. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna keep it simple, just make it like this. What else? So once you have understanding about this as well, that TR represents a row, TH represents the cells in the header column. Now what about the body? Body is going to be another story, so it's going to be TR as well. But whenever you want to represent the row data, instead of using TH, that's going to land you the bold font, then you should use TD. So in here then for the TD, then you can put mockup data here, like 1, P1, 10. Okay, and then refresh it. You can see that we got the static data right here. Okay, now you can go for more. Then you can add another row here. Then it's become 2, P2, 20. And that would give you another rows of the data. I'm not sure if, okay, now that's the output. Okay, you can go further and make another one for 3, and P3 and 30, and that output give you another rows. Now in terms of the styling, as you can see, if you want to make it a little bit more different from here, you can apply styling from your table as well. It's called table scripted, and when you refresh it, I think maybe I spell it long. So let's go ahead and look at this together. It's called Bootstrap table. And now if you look at table, there is many different styles that you can apply for. For example, you can put like dark one. It's called table dark. Okay, but the one that I am looking for is the ribbon style. When you have some of the odd and even row with the different color. It's called table strip. Oh, just 1p. All right, and that would give you the look that look like this. Okay. Okay, so that is how you statically define your table. But life is not always simple like this, because this is what we call the data that is coming from your design. It's available at the design time, but most likely you are going to obtain this data in your program or getting data from the server. Server return the data, you display this data dynamically. So therefore, in the next video tutorial, we will start talking about the use of jQuery that allow us to understand how do we control the elements inside our static here, or how can make the new one and then add them dynamically. Okay, we're going to use jQuery for this. So until then, I'll see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you.